but today I thought I would show just some of the features here. Now, I like using Jamboard, as you can see, and slides, right? They are good for presenting information. Jamboards is especially good for interactive lessons, right? So let's say we have a lesson where we would like to be a little bit more interactive, right? So this is my D79. These are some of the classes that I have. Right, so we go here, this is where your stream is. At the bottom, you see the options. You can click over classwork, right? And you can go to your different lessons that you have, all right? So let's just look at a few of them. So here, right, if we go natural selection, right, we have different options here. Adaptation one. So if we go here, now as you can see here, we have different files here, right? There's adaptation, there's views, there's articles. Now, for this one here, right, the first one, this is a Jamboard. All right, so the fact that I have this app, it should be able to work from here. All right, so if it's not working, we go here. All right, so this is where we have some of our interactive lessons. All right, so we come here to this lesson, right? This is the adaptation lesson. You can have a short reading here, as you can see, right? So the students will go through the reading, and then eventually we would discuss what is going on with the text, right? So this is part of a strategy that I've gone to a workshop for, which is called VTS, right? So it's like a visual thinking strategy, not only for images or videos, but you could also break down a text, right? So here is the Jamboard. Now at the bottom right screen, you see the little blue pen in the circle. You would tap on that, and then you are in the editing feature, right? The left side, you see the menu bar with the different things, right? So if you want to move things around, you make sure you're clicked onto the arrow. So when we're going through this, students can come in, they could double tap on this, and they could type their response, right? They would type in their response of what they believe is taking place, right? So they would say, I think, right? So from the reading, right, I think that this is going on, or based on the reading, right? So I can have a few sentence prompts for them, and they would just continue their thoughts based on the reading, okay? So that's what students can do for this slide. Then we go to the next page, right? Page 2, I already have some markings for this lesson, right? So we can go through this together. So this is part of the annotative part, right? So we're going to go through the reading, and then we could start annotating together. And students have the ability, right? So based on the settings that you place for each of your Jamboards, you can place a setting where anyone who has a link, right, and if they are part of D79, they have the ability to edit. And so students can come in, right? They could tap on this, they could use the highlighter, and they can start choosing a color, whichever they prefer, and they can start highlighting, right? Certain words they believe are going to be important, or if it blocks it out too much, they could simply just underline the word, right? So they can underline, they can make notes of what they would wish, right? They can erase or just choose the undo feature at the bottom. All right, so we would come through here, we would read this part, and then we would just do a little summary of our thoughts after we annotate them. All right, so the same thing here, we continue reading, right? We're just showing a little bit of our thoughts here, right? So you could always just add certain things here in this menu bar, right? So they can add things, they could write, right? And we continue. All right, and then here is where we can do a little bit, another interactive piece with an image that's based on a question, right? So they could either write down their responses, or as a teacher, right, if you're coming from a laptop, we could text some of their responses, or they can add a sticky note, right? If they add a sticky note, that'll be theirs only, and it will be part of here. So if they did a sticky note from this is from an iPad, so let's say if they went with I think, if they said their response, right, they could just place it here, and each student can place a sticky note as they see fit, right? And we could have a whole list of students just having their written response right here in the actual presentation. Right? And we continue, right? And so for this one, students would make sure that they click on the arrow, and students could actually interact with these, right? So the directions are saying which one does not belong, right? So you click or tap and drag the item that does not belong. So based on those readings that we just went through in the first few slides, we would look at this reading here. So some of these, right? So for this first one, we have hard turtle shell, sharp curved beak, hibernation. And as from the reading, they would understand that these two are connected because they are the physical characteristics, right, of a turtle, right? And turtles have these two things, a turtle shell, right, and a curved beak, because the reading indicated that, in fact, turtles have curved beaks. So they know hibernation was not part of it, and they would click and drag, right? You could have volunteers, or you can choose students as they please. So now if a student is working from an iPad or an iPhone or Android phone, they would need to have the Jamboard app available to them on their device in order for this to work. Now, if they're working on a laptop, they don't need to download anything. The link, the link would simply just bring them to a Jamboard. Okay, so this is what we're going through, right? So they would just click and drag their responses here, and we would discuss it and continue and see if everyone agrees or disagrees. And then we would continue with the lesson. So this is just one idea for Jamboard, using a Jamboard for a lesson.